Baraka! Scooby-Doo!
Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City Media podcast. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis. Now, let's get to the show.
We're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tigers Untapped, episode 87.
87 is live.
Live from the StreamYard studios. Kenny still hasn't found us a physical location to record in, and my beverage is about to explode all over my laptop. Timothy.
So we were talking rug burns before the show started.
Wow. Getting into that early, huh? Tonight.
Speaking of burns
from Hook Point. This is backwards for y'all, so you can't read it, but
that's
right.
I mean, if you guys at home are paying attention on the screen, this is a small can, means a small show. 12 ounces.
In theory.
Which actually means it'll probably be the longest show this season.
100%.
And we will finish this beer in the first segment.
Yeah.
Probably so.
Fellas.
Oh, by the way, why isn't Trey supposed to, or is TJ supposed to chug a beer on air?
Trey. It was
Trey.
He's actually two beers behind, but
when are we doing this?
I don't know what beer it is.
Let's see.
We got to go
Where do you want to start? I can definitely tell you Goldcrest 51 you didn't do, and Adjective Animal.
I don't think I have the Goldcrest one. I have Adjective Animal downstairs.
We can make it happen. We can make it happen. I know.
To be honest, I don't think that I'm going to pull off being an Adjective Animal.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. So you're breaking the bylaws of the
so
show.
I will probably just handle it the way that Timothy handled it when he did this, and just chug a random beer.
Not on purpose. I didn't do it on purpose.
Beer. Mine won't be on purpose either.
The wrong beer.
Mine won't be on purpose either. Fellas, you boys been watching any Olympics?
Yeah, a lot.
What's your favorite Olympic sport?
It's gonna sound weird. Maybe like the pummel bars. I don't know why they just are so impressive to me.
The pommel horse?
Yeah. Sorry. Uneven bars and pommel horse are what I was watching last night. So I just spoke them.
Uneven bars, man. When they lose their grip on the uneven bars, it is quite the fall.
It is so dangerous. The uneven bars they make like my stomach gets in knots. I'm just like, oh my God. Like,
yeah, it's rough, man.
Gymnastics is up there. I like volleyball.
Yes,
Beach
dude.
Beach
volleyball. That's where it's at for me. The USA are killing it right now.
Yeah, I was watching that match last night.
Yeah. Which one? The men's or the women's?
No, the women's against Italy.
Yes, dude. What an awesome match. Yeah.
Chang and
Hughes. Sarah Hughes is like my new favorite Olympic athlete. She is
really
unbelievable at volleyball.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Dude.
Dog, she is crazy. Like, she is like, they called her, one of the announcers said, because Missy May Trainer is one of the announcers, and she's like a legend, right? And they were one of the announcers was like, there's not been a U.S. Olympic volleyball player that's even close to what Missy May Trainer was until Sarah Hughes came along. She's awesome to me. But volleyball has dominated my Olympic watching stuff. I watch it all, every match, no matter.
I don't ever. It's only every 4 years. I don't ever watch volleyball outside of this, but any Olympics, I get into it.
Dude, I'm taking Sayla. She's got a favorite. Okay, I need to confess something. I failed my daughter. Guess who her favorite college team is?
Kansas.
No.
Ole Miss. Texas?
UT, yeah.
How did that happen?
Because Texas was amazing at volleyball this year.
Volleyball.
And so we are actually, I'm taking
Did they
her.
win the Natty?
They won the Natty big time. Jermaine O'Neal's daughter, I think her name is Aisha or Alicia. She is ridiculous, like ridiculous.
I had a fun fact. I had a pair of Jermaine O'Neal's shoes in like 6th grade, I think it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't have told you he had shoes, to be frank.
Yeah.
I think it was one, it was only one a dish at night out.
Okay.
Yep, here they are. I'm pulling them up for you guys.
Well, now that we're like 45 minutes off topic of,
it's only 6 minutes. People relax.
It's 6 minutes too long. Get back on track, boy.
But no, so I'm taking Selah to go see. The closest they're going to be to Memphis is they're playing Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and I'm taking her to go see them play.
Look, these are on eBay for $75. Should I get them?
No.
Oh my God.
Take me
Where
back.
would you wear those?
Gosh. On the basketball court, maybe to work.
I could see you. I could see you rocking those at work. Yeah.
This would be so bad. All right, stop share. That just you saying that's Jermaine O'Neal. Whoa, look at, did you see how we were set up there?
I like that stack, dude. 335 stack.
Speaking of stacks, Bart Torvik, fellas, we've been talking about him all off season. We got our roster added, but what we haven't really paid attention to is his projections. I think we mentioned it that he's got us projected technically at an 18-6, 13-3 record. But if you go in there and you look and you play around with Bart Torvik, his current projections for wins, we're only an underdog in one ball game all year. At Clemson on December 14th, he's got us losing 78-76. Every other game, he gives us an above a 57% or a 52% or greater chance to win every other game.
Wow.
You're talking what, 23-1? Is that right? Obviously, that doesn't include the Maui games. That's not out. We don't know the bracket yet, so those aren't in there. So I would say that there's probably a couple of games in there that we're not going to be favored in, but out of the 24 available games, to be currently favored in 23 of 24 is pretty daggum good, I'd say.
That's just pretty surprising, I think.
Yeah, especially given the
Yeah, get in there, TJ.
No, I was just saying that's surprising considering the mixed bag of emotions on people's feelings on the offseason and all the different roster changes and the guys you brought in, the guys you lost, and then you come back and metrics say that turns out you should be pretty damn good based off the metrics. But I know there's only one guy's numbers. It is what it is, but
it is. We'll see.
We trust.
I mean, Ken Palm doesn't come out for a little while, so we'll see what that ends up being at. But right now, this is the only one we got. 3 games on this schedule right now that we've got a below 60% chance of winning, according to Bart. I want to take a gander at what 3? I just told you one of them, I think. At Virginia, 52%. So there's 2 more out there that are below 60%. No, actually, the away game at Tulane. This might be a little surprising. 83% chance to win. He's got us winning by 11 points as of today. He would have the line set at 11.5 in favor of the Tigs.
Does he have a Memphis metric worked in there? Like a
wait a second. This isn't right. He's got Tulane on here twice, and we only played them once. Okay, throw this all out the window.
I feel like
this is.
So what's the number?
Throw it
out.
I don't
know now.
What's the number?
Quit lying to us. Quit lying to us.
There were 2. The other one was an away game at UAB. He's got us as only a 2-point favorite, winning 82-80, 57% chance to win. And then the third one was at North Texas, which he's got as a 59% chance and about a 3-point favorite at a 76-73 victory as of today.
How's that work when half their roster is on our roster now? Make that make sense.
I think they got some new guys to fill in, maybe.
Interesting. I don't know how I feel about that.
But here in August 5th, a little bit of fun things to play around with. Sitting here being projected to win 23 of your 24 currently scheduled games. We got one out of conference game remaining to be scheduled. And then we got the Maui Invitational bracket that's still got to be released. So I don't know. There's been some rumors floating around about that last out of conference game.
Yeah, versus Wyoming.
Hopefully they announce that game against Chaminade soon.
The Chaminade game is going to be awesome.
No, I don't think is this a year that Chaminade. I don't think Chaminade plays in the Maui this year. They're only like every year or something. Can we get Chaminade back in Maui every year, please? They deserve it.
Why do they deserve it?
Let me ask you a question.
They're the host team, Kenny.
Okay.
You don't think the hosts should get to participate every single year?
I don't know anything about Chaminade.
Let me ask you a question. When we talk metrics about things like
let those locks out.
Is a bad word. What?
Let those locks flow.
I don't have any locks anymore, man. Are you done interrupting me, you clown?
Yeah, go ahead.
When we go through things like this, like the Bart Torvik coming back saying we're going to be, I don't remember the number now. What was the record?
18-6.
18-6.
Favored in 23 or 24.
Oh yeah. We'll use that number because it's more ridiculous. Favored in 23 of 24 games. Do you think that puts
23-1?
Yes. Do you think that puts extra pressure on the season? And if we were to drop 2 games very quickly, that people are going to start freaking out? Do you think those kind of things
absolutely
put just like a ridiculous amount of pressure that maybe shouldn't be there? Like we're just relying on one guy's, his system, his own made up numbers to produce that. But in reality, it's not like a guarantee, right? It's just what the metrics say should happen.
I mean, I don't know how many people are paying attention to those metrics anyway, and a lot of people get annoyed with the metric talk. Yeah. But I can tell you right now that if we come out and we drop too early, people are going to be freaking out no matter what.
Yeah. It's a weird.
The 2 we lose to are.
No, yeah. It doesn't matter. People are going to freak out no matter what.
It doesn't matter.
It's an interesting time period, I think, for Tiger basketball. And I think it might actually be in their benefit because there's kind of 2 things that are happening, I think, right now. There might be 3 as I continue to kind of go down this, but right now there's more heat on football than there has been in 5 years, right? Like this is the most, I guess maybe impactful, more hyped off season heading into the season that Tiger football's had ever. And sure. I mean, even preseason of the 2019 season was not this, right? Like I think everybody knew they were going to be good, but they didn't know they were going to be, I think there's an expectation that this Tigers team is going to be very good. So there's that aspect of it. I think there's a lot of heat on football right now. And then I think there's a lot of, like, you've even seen it in the way that people talk about this program. I think in the national pundits, they have used prior like failures, if you will, of Penny Hardaway's teams to say this is who they are and this is what they're going to be. And then you get a roster that is not overwhelming in terms of names like last year's roster was. Then you just go, I think there's a level of like, okay, kind of not, but it's also August 5th, right? So it's not like,
yeah,
but I think this could be helpful though for the Tigers because there's very few expectations on them. There's a lot of heat. We're not going to be sitting here in the middle of October, going, God, when does basketball season start? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be more of a, hey, we're paying attention to football. And all the guys are here. And so they're grinding behind the scenes in anonymity, I think, in a lot of ways. And I think it's going to make them, I think it's going to be in their benefit. I think this lack of hype is going to be beneficial to them in the long term.
So do you think it's unfair for people to hold previous years' teams' success or lack thereof or mistakes against this year's team?
I think we need to switch it. It's not that they're holding against a team; it's that Penny Hardaway is the head coach.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think it's the similarities and the things that have been happening and the situation.
So is it wrong to assume that those things would happen again? That the history would repeat itself?
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't know that it's wrong or right, but I don't think you can blame people for being a little bit skeptical.
100%.
No, and I don't know who is out there telling pundits, fans, whoever it may be, like, oh, maybe you shouldn't say that just because they lost to a Rice or a USF by 20. Like, they won't do that again because it's like we've kind of seen that one happen, kind of thing. So.
Yeah. But no, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I think I still can't get through like an understanding of why these metrics, these analytic guys, Bart Torvik and all these other people that actually really like this roster. Because I really like this roster too, just on a basketball sense. But in terms of just name value and what they bring to the table, it is wild to me how popular this roster is compared to previous rosters. Like, it just is, it's interesting to me. And I think it makes me go, they were right last year. We were wrong last year about that roster. So what if they know something we don't know? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously these things also you need more data, right? So we get a couple weeks in the year and things may start looking a bit different. The metrics fall, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of what happened last year.
Yeah.
Preseason it's still fun to look at. And one thing we haven't talked about that Bart Torvik does have, he's got based on his current projections of having us 18-6, 13-3 in conference, he's got us with similar resumes over previous years, other teams here. One of them being Loyola Chicago 2021 that made it to the Sweet 16. He's got Butler in 2008 that made it to the round of 32. They were a 7 seed. Loyola was 8. Buffalo in 2019 as a 6 seed, made it to round of 32. Wofford in 2019 as a 7 seed, made it to the round of 32. Florida Atlantic in 2023 as a 9 seed, made it to the final 4. Numerous teams on here. Basically what he's saying is if things shake out how he currently has it, 18-6, 13-3, that doesn't include the Maui, we're looking at like a 7 or 8 seed. And at least based on historical of similar teams, at least winning a first round game and maybe making it to the second weekend.
I mean, Lenardi came out and said he had them projected as a 7 seed,
right? Yeah.
Yep.
So
how many of those teams were conference champions though?
I don't know.
Let me see.
I think that may play obviously plays a little bit of into it, but
he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on here. 10 team comparisons. Of those 10, 7 were the auto bid, meaning they won their conference. There were 3 that were at large. That would be 2019 Nevada, who was a 7. He got an at large bid. 2013 St. Mary's was an at large as an 11 seed. And then the third was Utah State in 2023 as a 10 seed, got an at large bid with a similar resume. So 70% of those won their conference with a similar resume, which I would go out to say today, if Memphis is 13-3, they're probably winning the conference and get the auto bid.
Should be winning the conference, yes.
What did y'all see? What did y'all think about his projected stats and usage for like, I guess the top 10, was it top 10 that he put in? Top 10 most impactful
you got
players.
He's got top 10. I mean, it's interesting. I think we talked a little bit about last week with PJ Carter, right? He's got him as the 9th contributor with Jared Harris as 10. Moose is down there at 8. Tyreek Smith at 7. Tyrese and PJ up at the top with Colby Rogers at 3rd and Dane at 4th. I mean, I think to me, it looks like it's pretty, obviously it's hard to tell based on points per game, rebounds, assists. I don't know what those numbers are going to be, but I think from a usage perspective or contribution perspective, I think Tyrese, PJ, Colby, Dane up there at the top is probably pretty accurate. I think he's got Nick at 6th. You could talk me into Jourdain maybe being up there at closer to 4, even 3, maybe. Just kind of, we've seen him be able to step out, hit a 3. He's kind of can bring and can contribute. So I could see you could talk me into him being up a little bit higher, but I think at least at where he's got it right now, definitely with Tyrese and PJ as 1 and 2, I think it seems pretty accurate to me.
I mean, sign me up for 3 guys that are projected to be in like the I think it's 3 guys in double digits. Is that what it was?
It's 4. Dane with
4 guys.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
So
I was like, oh hell yeah, give me
that. He's got Tyrese at 15.5 points a night. He's got PJ at almost 17, 16.8. Colby Rogers at 13 a night, and then Dane Danger at 11.5 a night. He's got Dane at 11.5 and 7.5 boards a night.
I'll take that all day for a big for Memphis.
Yeah,
all day.
I would take that 100%,
dude.
All day.
100%.
Hundo.
What do y'all think? Who out of those 4, who is the key to the Tigers making a run? Like, which guy is the key to that?
I mean, guard play is so important. I want to say it's Tyrese.
Yeah.
As the lead on ball.
Yeah, guard play is so big in college.
Guard. I mean, if he's, and you look at it last year, like the nights that Quinterly was off were usually nights that we were winning ball games.
I'm going to throw out another name. I think it's Colby.
I almost said that because if he's coming out and he's consistently knocking down threes at a 40% clip,
game set.
If he's putting up 13 a night, I don't know that we're losing many games ever.
That's what I'm thinking. If he can come out,
really step in and be a starting 3 productivity wise and defensively hold his own. Yeah. I mean,
because what has Memphis really missed over the last couple of years, right? Like a productive 3, a guy who can who can come in and be consistently producing at that level. Yeah. Like I know David was projected as a 3, but David played more of a shooting guard kind of role, for the team. But I just like, it's going to be so interesting because over the last few years, you've seen they tried to force, he was so bad. I forgot his name already. Kid from Wichita State, transferred from Alabama or went to committed to Jaquan Walton. Tried to bring him in, not what didn't do well, like, and who was
that Jackson State game, he came out and we're like, damn, yeah, this is what we need. Cause he had like 18 in the first half.
Right.
And I think that was 70% of his yearly total of points was in.
I don't know if he got 18 points the rest of the year combined
the rest of the year.
There's a lot of Landers Nolly slander here, but
that's a very good point. But that was a couple of
I don't know that it's slander or just
no, I'm just messing with you. He was good that 1 year. That second year was not so great.
But I think that, like, who is the guy? Honestly, when it comes to Penny Hardaway and the 3, the only name that I remember consistently is Jaden Hardaway. Like, he just always was in that role. Always. Like, he was the safety blanket, right? And I just go, man, if Colby can come in and produce at 3/4 of the usage and percentage that he has been shooting for the last 4 years in college, it's going to be revolutionary for this team. Like, It just really
Join the
opened up,
revolution.
right?
You remember those?
Join the revolution.
I don't remember.
Larry
that.
Porter. It was Larry Porter era. TJ.
Yeah. Join.
Mind
the
your
revolution.
business, Dennis. That's what I remember. The
That's the
commercial.
greatest greatest thing that the University of Memphis athletic department has ever put out.
Well,
Ever. The tramp stamp ticket tattoo.
The tattoo.
100%. Mind your business, Dennis. Can we lead our show off with that commercial from now on?
Yeah.
All right, wrapping up basketball. If you guys haven't already, get out there, check out our boy Kenny for Bluff City Collective. Put out a one-on-one interview with, or I guess it was kind of 2-on-1. He had Bluff City Collective Hawkins on there with you, Baraka Okojie interview. They're doing a little players, get to know the players series. Very thoughtful young man and defensive minded was the first thing that sticks out to me. Some are calling him the ALO plus 4 inches of this year's squad. 4-inch ALO.
I don't know you want to go that route. I would stick with maybe the first one.
I don't know. I think
Just
there's an NIL opportunity there with 4-inch.
Okay.
Rumors on the street are he's actually ahead of schedule. Can you confirm or deny these reports of shoulder surgery rehab?
I cannot confirm because I do not know. Did not ask that question. But I would say there is a level of confidence in Baraka that he is going to be A-okay before the season starts.
He looked fine on the video.
Yeah. Yeah. He was an awesome interview, man. Like it was super interesting to kind of get to know him and hear his story a little bit. There's no matter where you come from, no matter, how you grew up, whatever, it is so cool to me to hear him. Like he started talking about his brother, playing ball with his brother and how that's kind of where he grew up. Learning how to play ball was just getting beat on by his older brother in basketball. Yeah. And he was telling me kind of like when the first time he beat him. And anyway, that's just kind of fun stuff to me, man. Like to hear that. Cause that was nowhere near the level that he's at, but that's, you can practice and play all day long. But I remember in my own story of playing basketball, it was the summers of playing hoops with my friends at the house that kind of turned you into what you wanted to be growing up playing basketball. So it's just fun. Cool story. Sure.
I don't know how much I liked him saying that they played a couple one-on-ones this summer and he lost to him.
Well, his brother still plays professionally. His brother's not a bum.
Not professional. He plays at Howard University.
Oh, I thought he was an overseas player. My bad.
No, he said he's about to be a junior at Howard. But then, now that I think about it, I mean, Baraka had shoulder surgery, so I guess if he's playing him one-armed, then
exactly,
his brother would beat him. He also said his brother has like 40 pounds on him, so
makes sense.
He's backing that ass up down.
It would be kind of like me playing you in one-on-one, Trey. Just taking you in the post and saying,
I jump out the gym.
Please, I'd block your shit.
Well, let's see it. Let's watch it. Let's see what happens.
Not with TJ out there setting all-time screener.
Well, who would you screen? Listen, let me ask you this.
That's the
TJ,
thing, Kenny.
You never know. You're way too close to Trey. Would you screen for me the way you screen for Trey?
I don't even try to screen. I just get in the way,
would screen
and
me.
It works.
I would have offensively, and he would set a screen on me. Is what would happen.
I'm just trying to get around the court, and I just set screens. My team, the other team, the ref. It doesn't matter who it is. They're coming into the wall. I get these big shoulders. I take up a lot of space.
It's a sight to see.
You know what you're good at,
Yeah, I feel you.
But all right, fellas.
It was fun. Baraka was cool, and I hope
it's a good interview. And if you haven't seen it, get over to Bluff City Collective and check it out. And I think you guys will be dropping more throughout the rest of the off season, right?
Doing another one this week.
Doing another one. There you go. A little tease.
Little tease.
All right. With that, we're going to take a break. When we come back, We got preseason polls dropped. We got top-ranked offenses being talked about. We got Seth's legacy on the line. And then we're going to TFT's conference realignment corner to wrap it up. We'll be right back.
A great day for Old Buckets on Twitter yesterday, getting Luke Kennard back on the team.
I was excited to see he's on the team. He is the best three-point shooter in the NBA. I don't understand the discourse, and I've got beef with you too about it.
I'm all for Luke staying on Beale Street. I ain't trying to get rid of him.
Yeah, well, I have a hard time believing that, Rusty, because the first thing you said was, this is a perfect contract to trade. Luke Kennard is never going to feel stable in Memphis. The first time his contract is up, they're like, okay, well, we're going to let this last until August, and then we're going to sign you for 1 year. It quells my own excitement because I've been all offseason like, re-sign Luke. He's a 45% three-point shooter. Obviously, you're going to have to either do this again next year or trade him.
I want Luke in Memphis. I want him to stay. That's also a really good contract to pair with a John Conchar to get an $18 million wing that we can send off on 2 expiring deals.
Tune in to the $2 Sports Show with Rusty Witten and Drew Gann every Friday at 3 p.m. only on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
One of the questions as far as my writings for the Wizards was, what's going to happen with Tyus Jones? And I kind of was able to narrow it down. He had 3 teams that he was primarily looking at, and that were the Memphis Grizzlies, the Phoenix Suns, and the Atlanta Hawks. From my understanding, Memphis they offered him more money. Memphis offer was somewhere around $5 to $6 million, but they wouldn't have given him an opportunity to start. And I believe that was something that was really important for him.
I'm not saying that what you're saying isn't true, but I don't think the Grizzlies actually made a serious run at Tyus Jones. And at that number, I don't even consider that serious. You know what I mean?
A lot of people in Memphis didn't really want to believe that the Grizzlies were interested in Tyus Jones. And I think from what I saw on the internet, a lot of that has to do with you guys' expectation of what Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to be. The Memphis Grizzlies very much like Scottie Pippen Jr., but I'm also here to tell you they went out and tried to get a backup point guard.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
What up? We're back, fellas. The first coaches poll dropped today, Monday, August the 5th. The Tigs weren't ranked. However, we were in the others receiving votes. So if you like to include those universities, if you count them out, we got 44 votes, which puts us at 30th overall, which is the highest G5 in the nation. 1 spot ahead of Boise State at 31st with 30 first place votes. Other notables. From a schedule perspective, Florida State at 10th overall in the country. So it'll be fun to go on the road to that. Liberty, not from our schedule, but just from a G5 perspective, sitting at 35th with 15 first place votes. From the conference, UTSA received 3 votes, Tulane with 2. And then Troy on the schedule got a first place, or not a first place vote, excuse me, just a vote. For the top 25.
Did Temple get any votes?
No, 0 votes, period, for anything. Georgia got 46 of 55 first place votes for a unanimous number 1. Ohio State had 7. Texas got 1. And then Michigan, all the way down there at number 8 in the country, got a first place vote.
All the way down at number 8.
All the way down. I mean, I think that's rare to be number 8, but also have a first place vote. No.
No? Yeah, that's probably true.
I think that is.
That's obviously someone local to Michigan probably making that one personally, but
yeah, that's probably right.
Because there's no reason we would actually put that there.
I don't know if you fellas have seen this, but College Football Reddit put out today based on the coaches poll rankings, if the playoff, which obviously this isn't the playoff rankings, it's just the coaches poll, if the playoff were to start today based on these rankings, here, ladies and gentlemen, is what your bracket would look like with the Tigs number 12 seed playing at the 5 seed Oregon. You got Georgia as your 1, Ohio State as 2, Florida State at 3, Utah at 4th. We'd be playing, the winner of our ball game would be traveling to play Utah. I mean, I'd sign up for it. I don't know that I want to go play at Eugene, Oregon. I'd rather somewhere that's a little easier to get to. But I'm not going to turn down a playoff spot.
No, as you shouldn't. If you told me the Tigers are going to lose by 40, I still think it's worth going.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You lose by 100, just sign me up for the playoffs.
Yep. It's the money. It's just
sign
getting
me right up. It's just
winning would be cool, though.
I think we got a chance. I don't know. Facing old Dan Lanning again, that game, take the over in that one. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you take the over on that?
Yes, I think that's
little Oregon Memphis Tigs.
God,
I feel like Big Cat as Washington State playing the Tigs. I don't know if you guys follow that on Barstool, but Big Cat beat us 78-70 in a bowl game.
Who was he playing with?
He was Washington State. I think it was the Armed Forces Bowl or something, but the Tigs put up 70, the computer.
Wow.
It was nice. Imagine how fun that bowl game would be, 78-70. With 5-minute quarters, that's a lot of scoring.
Sounds like some of the Norvell years, honestly.
It does. That's exactly what I was thinking. It sounds like the what's the bowl they played against BYU? Was it the Miami Bowl?
Yeah, but that wasn't Norvell.
Who was that? Oh, that was Fuente.
That's
Fuente.
Fuente.
My bad.
That was JF, General Fuente. That's not the only rankings that were discussed over the weekend since the last time we spoke. TJ called these outlandish and quite frankly was disgusted by this list. But our boy Phil Steele has his top 15 offense. I think it might be 25, but there were only 15 listed in the tweet that I saw. Top projected passing offenses. Your Tigs are the number 1 team, according to Philip Steele, in the country for passing offense. TJ, go ahead and let the people know why you think that that's outlandish.
Well, you're talking about a team that was number 10 last year?
Last year in passing offense, we return our quarterback, we return all of our top receivers. I don't think it's outlandish at any.
So the Tigers are just going to jump to number 1. Who was ahead of them?
I'm just
Washington,
saying I don't know
Oregon.
I don't know that it's impossible or outlandish.
Outlandish is a really tough word to use on that, right? Like they were top 10 last year. Like what? How is them bringing everybody back making that an outlandish situation?
Because it still sounds bizarre to me. I don't know. I mean, what do you want from me? It just does. You're telling me we're just automatically going to jump up an extra. I don't even know the difference. I could probably look that up.
Yeah, let me get it. Let me pull it up. Last year, from a top passing offense, number 1 in the nation was Oregon at 347 yards a game. Washington, number 2, 344. LSU at 339. Washington State at 337. USC at 333. Oklahoma at 325. TCU at 312. Arizona at 308. Colorado State at 306.5, where we were tied. So technically we were tied 9th with Colorado State at 306.5 yards a night through the air.
So run all that back. What was number 1? You gave me a lot of numbers right there.
We are roughly 40 yards behind number 1 Oregon, who had 346 yards a night. We were at 306.
So you're telling me there can be one more Demir Blancomse's go route pass, get them that 40 yards?
No, because when you're smoking everybody by 20 points a game, Ryan's going to call
Stop
the dogs.
grounding.
They're not going to be running
Start
that kind of
grounding
thing.
and pounding. Win with
Yeah,
class.
they're going to everyone.
I don't
win with
see
class.
Ryan
Exactly.
Silverfield winning with class this year. I don't see
Stop it.
that.
Stop. That's him. That's just who he is. He's not going to sit there and try to ground out some random team.
I don't
He hasn't
know,
done it-
bro. You
He's
heard him
never
with
done it
TJ.
before.
You heard him with TJ. They ain't ever had a chance to play for the national championship. I meant Trey. My bad.
Wow.
Sorry. Trey.
Wow.
That's a first.
Wow.
TJ and I have never
Wow.
been confused.
That's not true. Scott
Now,
won
TJ
Scott
and our-
backwards.
Now, TJ and our friend Jonathan, that happens quite often. We could have had Jonathan at the interview, and Coach probably would have had no idea. Kenny might have had no idea, to be
Probably not.
honest.
Yeah.
Speaking of winning with class and what Kenny's alluding to, it seems like there's a little bit of a different confidence aura around Ryan Silverfield this offseason. I think he likes this
get
team
that.
a lot. And it's been mentioned several times. We were talking about it before we started around Seth's legacy by himself, Tim Cramsey, who's on my television right now. Seth Henigan named to the Walter Camp watch list.
Yeah. Did you see the AAC
But
put
it's-
out a graphic? Who's the USF quarterback? Byron Brown?
Brown.
Byron Buxton? Buxton?
USF.
USF?
Brown.
Brown? They put out a thing because both of them got put on that watch list, and they put out a graphic with only Byron on there.
I'm so sick of this damn conference, to be honest with you. What was this on Twitter?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did
They-
it even
they said-
mention Seth?
They said Seth's name in it. They tagged him in it, but they only put a graphic with Byron on it.
That's nice.
They
Goodness.
get
I hope we destroy them.
Whatever. I got to get butthurt over anything like that. But
Get us out of here, though. I can't even find the American Conference on Twitter.
he probably blocked you.
they probably did.
I've never said anything to the American Conference that would be ridiculous. All right, I got him. I don't even see where this is. They post too much. Oh, I see.
They do post a lot.
That's USF.
I do feel
Okay,
like
yeah. Why would
it's
they do that?
interesting- What would they do? What?
Why would they
Oh,
do
just
this
one
graphic?
picture?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's-
probably because they're going to have 17 Seth Henigan pictures all year long. They're like, let's
their
give
marketing.
USF something.
Their marketing needs to be fired.
I don't disagree with that. Can we go
For
back to
those of you
the
at home,
Seth's?
go to Seth's legacy. I'm just going to share this real quick with the folks at home that aren't being able to see this.
Do we think
This
that's true?
graphic.
Do we think his legacy is on the line here by any means?
I don't think it's on the line. He's the record holder
What,
for like every. I know that I'm saying that's what they're saying, but I think that seems a little bit.
Let's define
Yeah, right.
legacy. What is legacy? Like, what do you think his legacy? If he were to leave and would have left Memphis, what would his legacy be after 3 years of being the
all-time leading passer.
okay?
I mean, is that not?
In
it
terms
seems
of-
like something you would strive for as a quarterback.
Okay, most influential quarterback. Most. Do you think where would he be on the? If you had a list of 4, right? Riley, Paxton, Brady, and Seth. Legacy wise, where would Seth be?
And just
I
3
think
years.
we're gonna get-
4 for me.
3. And if he left after his junior year,
Yeah, if he'd left this past year, of those 4, he's 4th for me.
okay.
Just
Yeah, I think
based
you're
on
going to get in a
on-field accomplishment
situation
for those teams.
exactly where people are measuring different things. Like
Okay.
his
Okay.
teams haven't really done anything.
Right. He is the leading passing yards. He is the leading passer in the history of the Tiger program. After his 4th year, win a conference championship, play in the college football playoffs. What's his legacy?
Number one.
Yeah.
Number one.
Would-
No doubt.
And he finishes 3rd in the Heisman voting. Number 1.
I mean,
Here you go.
isn't that? Don't you think that's what they're talking about? with his
Oh,
legacy?
sure. I think this season he can dramatically improve his legacy.
I don't know about dramatically. I don't think I could take it that far because if you're
I think leaping 4-1 is pretty dramatic.
Dramatic.
Ah,
What do you have? What did you answer him? What do you have him at today?
Out of those four.
Between Seth, it was Seth,
Paxton, Brady, and Riley.
Paxton, Brady. Probably 3.
Who's under him?
Really? In front of who?
Yeah, I think Riley's system was a system guy, and the team that he had around him was just so much different than everyone.
TJ's taking points
they won a
away
conference
from Riley
championship
because all Riley had to do was throw the ball up to Anthony, and he would catch it.
Yeah, but they won a
does
conference
anybody disagree?
though. They won a
They
conference.
didn't win a
Does anybody
conference. No,
disagree
they
with
didn't.
that?
No, they didn't.
No, they've
No, they
not. They didn't do
No, they
anything.
didn't.
That's my point, though. That was
We
my
lost
thing,
in
is that-
overtime to UCF.
Okay, well they went to play in a conference championship then.
Well, that doesn't do anything. Just because you played in it, I mean, some people would not be happy with that. So I don't think you could. I don't think you could put weight into. Well, maybe some people would put weight in getting there, but you're gonna have to do more than just getting there. I think you have to do something with it, right?
But would you put his legacy over Seth because Seth has not even gotten there?
I do.
No,
But TJ doesn't.
because I think that there's some individual statistics to kind of go along with that, right? I mean, I think if you were to say we could time travel, and I could say, give me Seth on that team with Riley's team, but with Seth, I would take Seth over Riley.
Riley was a little bit reckless at times.
Yeah,
Dude, 100%. But he was good. Don't get me wrong. He was good.
Oh,
But
then
I'm
he
still
could
taking
sling
Seth.
it.
If Riley had been here for longer than 2 years, Jesus Christ, his numbers would have been crazy.
Oh, for sure. I don't disagree with that. I think his team, the team around him was incredible, without a doubt. Not that Seth's had just like dog water team by any means. I mean, he's had some pretty good guys around him, but some of those Riley teams are really good. Like several NBA
I think
guys
no,
on those
no
rosters.
doubt that this will be the best team that Seth has had.
Sure.
Oh my gosh.
In his 4 years. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year.
What will be super interesting to me is I think this is the first year that he's had a number one alpha dog receiver since Calvin, right? And look what he did with
You don't
Calvin.
think Rock was alpha dog 1 last year?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, sure, but I think he's better.
There was
this
some
year. I think
unknown
Rock is going to be
going into that,
better
though.
this. I think
Well,
Rock is
yeah,
going to
no.
be much
Yeah.
better this year.
Yeah.
I think I kind of see your point, though, because I think there was still some unknown going into last year with Rock. It's always been like what could be.
Right.
Sure,
if
you
Rock
saw
put it together.
glimpses, but he was still a little bit unproven at times.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
And
you
now
saw
it's
glimpses.
like
Yeah.
you know night in, night out, Rock's that guy.
I mean, if you remember last year prior to the season starting, they kept talking about Rock being, Tim Cramsey was talking about Rock this, Rock that, Rock. And we were like, yeah, but Rock's been here for 2 years already. Like, we haven't seen that. Like, nobody's really seen, can he be consistent game in, game out?
You knew he was capable, but the consistency wasn't there. Yeah.
And last year, absolutely. That
when they went to Rock last year, good things happened.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Imagine throwing to your best receiver.
Yeah, we saw that UCF game his freshman year.
Yeah.
What he's capable of.
Both
Or could have been
had,
capable of.
Well, let me ask you this.
Could have
and
been.
this is a distinction, I think, a pretty good distinction. Legacy, we can talk legacy, talent out of those 4 guys. Where would you rank Seth right now?
I mean, what do you mean by talent, though?
Talent, just overall talent as a quarterback.
Am I looking at this from an NFL perspective? Like, who would I draft?
However you decide to judge it. I mean, clearly Brady's 4th.
Talent.
Right?
What a weird
Talent.
Yeah.
I mean, we love Brady White, but Brady's legacy.
But IQ 1.
I mean, I would say Brady's legacy is he's number 1, but in terms of talent, he's probably 4th out of those 4.
Yeah. Riley had a lot of talent too.
Dude, Paxton
and Riley.
was.
I mean, I think Seth would be 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think so too.
See, I think I think my problem is I'm thinking this from an NFL scouting mindset, and I think I would take Seth over Paxton.
Well, hindsight's 2020.
Sure, and some of that does play into it, but also he's 6'7", and like no one who's like Derek Anderson's probably like the only good 6'7" quarterback. So it's just a statistic you got to keep in the back of your mind as well. So just I don't know, man.
Paxton was addicted to them video games.
Was he really?
Similar to TJ during this show.
It's frozen on me like 15 times. I've been playing the same one quarter every time. It's unbelievably frustrating.
Hey, for all those listening, keeping track at home, I'm in my dynasty. UAB. So I'm playing the conference championship. They are 11-1. Their only loss was to me.
Wow.
They're ranked top 20. I think they're 20 or 19.
What are you ranked?
I think I'm 6. I am currently projected as the 4 seed.
So that's a question I have. Every time we talk about college football playoffs, we all go automatically 12th seed, college football playoffs, G5 representative. Do we know that that's the case? Like, could they be?
I think yeah. If you in a world where if you win at Florida State, that's Florida State's only loss, and then they win the ACC. Yeah, I think
100%
would be higher. You would be higher than 12 for sure. Maybe it would only be 10 or 9, but you would not be the 12th seed. But
I think everyone just knows how that works.
I will also let me say this: the rankings within college football video game are very messed up right now. They've even come out and said that they're putting a patch in because it's so broken. Florida is 6-4, and they were number 6 in my game with 4 losses.
TJ, I think he can't get through a game. So.
Yeah, he's still on week 1. It may have been an edited photo, but I saw a photograph of somebody else's top 25, and like 10 of the 25 teams were 500 teams.
Yeah, there were some with losing records.
Alabama was 5-6, and they were like 18th overall. It was absurd.
Come on.
They've come out and said that they're putting a patch out to fix it, but it is right now. It is the rankings in the game are not the best.
I just want to play the game. Can they make it so I can play the game?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I just think it's
really unfortunate.
To get back to the Seth's legacy conversation, I just think it's going to be so interesting if they do what talent-wise, the numbers he puts up this year are just cake upon cake upon cake. Like he's already the number 1 throw. He's already got the most passing yards in the history of the university of the program. In terms of legacy, if he comes out of this season with a conference championship and a berth in the college football playoffs, he automatically is one, right? Yeah. In the history of this program, he's automatically, legacy-wise, the number 1 quarterback in the history of this program.
He's the Henny Goat.
It's true.
And we'll leave it at that.
Is 2014 the last conference championship?
No.
What?
2019. They won.
2019. Excuse me. 2019. Yes. 2019, 2014 with the co-champion when they gave out the rings.
Right.
And then what else? I think just 4. No. Oh, no. I'm not talking about just American. I'm talking about in general. In terms of like Memphis football in general.
Oh.
Did the D'Angelo teams win?
So. They were always kind of bad.
They were kind of bad. We just played in a tougher conference. A little bit.
Okay. They weren't winning.
They were winning. I mean, I'm looking right now. I honestly can't. Okay. We have 8 conference titles. Yeah, 1971. Like
Exactly. There's a lot of those I don't count. Yeah.
69, 68. Wow. 68, 69, and 71. We were conference champions. And then 1929, 1930, and 1938.
I remember those.
Yeah.
You're old enough to remember those.
Ha!
Hang the banner.
Hang the banner.
I heard your comment to your wife earlier, Kenny.
Whoa.
What? What did I say?
Yeah, these guys are like 20. They wouldn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Time to head to TJ's conference realignment corner.
Yes, it is. TJ, you caused a ruckus this week, TJ.
You've
Not
blown
on
up
purpose. I'm
YouTube.
just telling people what I've been told, and
All right,
such
so
an
the
interesting
biggest
thing.
When did you start listening to Florida State's propaganda? Did you get a phone call from their lawyers?
You've bought in all into Florida State's argument.
Look, you read the elements that are put in front of you and you make a decision. It is what it is. And that's just the way it comes about.
So the buzzword phrase of the day is implied authority. Because as TJ outlined in last week's show and on Twitter and in the Discord, not all the ACC teams signed this extension, right?
Nobody signed it. It was just Phillips.
Yeah, Phillips signed, but here's the argument that's coming back from the ACC is that he had implied authority to be able to do that based on previous decisions that had been made and were agreed upon by the universities. So things could get squirrely here.
Yeah, the problem with that argument, and I get that from a decision-making standpoint, is that the ACC has bylaws stating that if anything changes with the media deal, they all have to be notified and agree on it. And that did not happen. Even if he has applied authority, that means he could sign it without them. The ACC bylaws don't state that.
What if they had a group me? He sent a message and they all hearted the message. He said, this message.
This is your e-signature. Like it.
Well, you guys make that joke, but I think part of the bylaws actually state that the teams basically have to be made aware of it or something like that. Have to be able to sign it. There's something in it like that where there's some wordplay that's up for interpretation.
That's a major distinction.
That's like anything legal.
But that's a major distinction though. Like if he has implied authority to be able to make those decisions in terms of a media deal, and the media company, ESPN, signs it, he signs it, and he just has to make them aware, that doesn't give them authority to veto it, right? Like they can't veto that if that's true. But if they have to sign off on it, then that the implied authority argument is null and void, right? Like he doesn't have the authority then.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because I think the extension from ESPN for them to make a decision had to be made in 2021, and the whole memo that Phillips signed was to extend it beyond that 2021 date to the 2026 date. Therefore, in 2027, there needed to be a new agreement. That's kind of the one that everyone's talking about now. That whole memo is essentially null and void in the sense that ESPN did not reach an agreement before 2021. And since Phillips had no one else sign off on it, then it's just like the whole thing is just like, it's interesting that no one's really mentioning that, to me at least. Like no one is mentioning that.
Can I get some clarification on the memo real quick?
Yeah.
Who was the memo to? Was the memo for ESPN or was it for the schools?
It is for an extension of their media rights deal, essentially. It is supposed to be an amendment to their media rights deal saying the way it was set up was ESPN had until 2021 to make a decision if they wanted to extend their current agreement with ACC. And they didn't make that decision in time, but they and Commissioner Phillips came to the agreement that they would extend it beyond that 2021 date and say, hey, you have from 2021 to 2026 to make that extension. Then let us know. And that's kind of the dates everyone's been working with. So the 2026 through 2036 is what everyone knows as the current agreement, saying ESPN could even expand it beyond 2026 to 2036. But in reality, it kind of ended in 2021 since the amendment itself to the agreement was against the ACC bylaw. So it's an interesting thing. So it kind of seems like Florida State is just playing with, not just Florida State, everyone in the ACC is playing with house money in a sense, because their deal probably should have ended in 2021. Which I get how that sounds very Florida State centric. But the person I heard this from is not any relation to Florida State. So I'm not sure why he would have that mindset.
It feels like to me, based on what I'm hearing you say and what I've heard, from last week and this week, is that Jim Phillips's argument is going to be that he had that as the commissioner, that he had the authority to be able to make that extension, like that it was, I guess, amendments or addendums in the contract, the original contract, that it didn't, unless it says specifically that it needs to be signed off on by every school, that they have, I guess, the right of first refusal, right? Like to be able to say, we want to extend this and we're going to extend this. And does that make sense? Like, it just feels like there's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo there to say, basically, we have every right to do this and we don't need your approval to do it.
And that's exactly what the bylaws say, is that every school has to sign off on the agreement if anything were to change with the media rights deal.
But I would say, I guess the argument would be then is it's not changed, because in this original agreement, we have the right to extend it out as to this date and this date and this date, right? Like they're not creating a new media agreement. They're just fulfilling the agreement that was there in the first place.
No, because the original agreement said that ESPN had to decide by 2021. And that's when the amendment that this whole thing is about, came about from between Phillips and ESPN. And they just said, hey, we're going to extend the date. We're going to give you more time to make this decision. And that is in the memo. They said this is an amendment to the agreement. So like in itself, it kind of counteracts exactly what the bylaws say. So it's just kind of a confusing situation all in all. Does that make sense?
It does.
Words. There are a lot of words.
And one of the things we know about the law is, in contractual law, if there is a confusing or ambiguous phrasing in contracts, that it is up to the writer of that contract to, like, if there is a disagreement about that language,
makes sense.
It's up to the person who wrote it. It's up to the entity that went into that agreement. So I would say, in terms of the ACC, it would be, it's up to the ACC to make it as clear and as obvious and, of language as possible for their schools that are involved in their conference. And so it is interesting, like, is this confusing language going to play against them in court, right? Like the confusing language of how all this works out, will that play against them? Because it's kind of on them to clear it up. It's not on Florida State to clear it up. Like, it's not on Florida State's legal team to call the ACC and be like, hey guys, by the way, are you extending this contract with the memo that we don't know about? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's up to the ACC to make that right. And so it's interesting.
Yeah. And I think one thing that's actually just going to come about this, when it's all said and done, is that the judge, whoever is making the decision, is just going to be like, you guys just come to an agreement. Like, what are we doing here? Like, don't waste our time. And he's probably just going to tell them to break up, and just, that's it. Florida State, Clemson, whoever else wants to leave,
you go your separate way.
Exactly. Like, you're going to pay your exit fees. They're going to meet in the middle, whatever, ACC is going to say you owe this, and Florida State and Clemson or whoever else is going to say we owe that. So it's going to
go into arbitration, and they're going to
they're going to split the difference and just call it a day, because at a certain point in time, like, you just get tired of dealing with this shit, right? Like, I mean, you have to understand that, like, yes, Florida State probably wants to do, or excuse me, ACC probably wants to do whatever it can to keep a Clemson, to keep a Florida State. But at a certain point in time, like,
they don't want to be there anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you can't consistently try to go back and forth with that same girl who keeps shutting you down, and you just keep trying. It seems kind of crazy.
Kind of like the Big 12 in Memphis.
Exactly.
Persistence is key.
Or kind of creepy.
Or stalkerish. Yeah.
Or kind of depends what you mean by that. Yeah, I think they're just gonna
realignment,
and we'll see. We will see a Florida State, a Clemson to not the Big 12. I don't think they're actually going to the Big 12. I think
in the end,
we need
garbage.
We need an ACC door opened.
Exactly. Which is why we care about this.
This is why we care, because in the end, ultimately, I think based on how we know conference realignment and networks and all that kind of stuff works, Florida State and Clemson are going to go where they want to go. They're going to figure out a way. If it's even a, hey, you need to pay this amount, the ACC saying, hey, you need to pay this amount to get out, and Florida State's like, we'll pay you 3/4 of that. It's going to happen, right? They're going to leave. They're not going to be there. And so if that opens the door for Memphis, then hell yeah, brother. Let's do it.
Then open it on up. What are we waiting on?
Yeah, I would take an ACC leftover. Yeah. Let's say it's some form of, like, even I'm talking like SMU. It's
just give
Boston
me a best
College,
of the rest.
Pitt.
I'll take it.
Like, yeah, just give me anything you can. I think I'm considering it. I think I take it because it's automatically going to be better. Your floor is better than the conference you're in today.
Yeah,
it seems like a no-brainer.
Get me out of here with fried rice and freaking.
I bet the ACC's media team would put Seth on a poster or on a graphic.
They would be damn proud of us. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully they get this figured out and there's a door open for us to walk through. Timothy, let's get in this Afterburner red Irish ale.
Yeah, man. A little bit left.
I have one swig that's slightly cooler than room temp.
What do you think of the can? Is it too? I was worried that when I picked this out, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be too simple for Trey." I don't think he's going to like it. I think it's.
I like the white
it too.
I like the white of it. Sometimes simple is good.
And here's the thing: I will always. Maybe this is a spoiler. I will always give Hook Point a little extra bonus points because everything they have is military, like military themed. It's like kind of the whole point of the brewery.
Yeah.
They're gonna get a little extra point, just like a half a point difference because of that. I respect it. You know,
I like it.
Respect the military.
I'm all for the redheaded pilot. Get the fighter.
Like
I feel like I need to be watching Top Gun while I drink this.
I get that vibe. I get that. What do you think about the can? I know you've kind of briefly talked about it.
I like it. It's simple but effective. I like the font. I like the color scheme. This is like a 7.2 on the can for me.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's a good.
Maybe you're worried about you not liking it and you love it. 7.2 is pretty good can score. I was on Numlocks, dude. I can't even write my score in there. It's good. It's good can. I keep showing it. It's going to be backwards. You guys aren't going to be able to read this by any means. I like the little font. I like the pinup woman. I guess it's not really a pinup woman. She's a pilot. Redhead drinking red beer.
She's a pinup pilot, man.
I like it. I don't know that I'm going to 7.2 just because there's nothing really shiny on it, and I'm like a little kid. Like, shiny is good for me.
The can itself is shiny. I feel like that's why I like it, because it's got more of a matte finish on it.
That's just like the aluminum in it, so that it's not really like the can, you know?
Yeah.
I'll say like a 6.7 6. I'll say 6.6 because I do like it.
Wow.
I do like it. I just don't like it as much as you, apparently. What about the beer, though?
I do like this beer.
Yeah, I kind of
I feel like we need. I feel like we needed. I feel like we needed a pint of it, though.
Like you work in the confines of what you're given, you know.
There's some maltiness there, but it's not overwhelming. And I now that I've read the back of it, I see it's saying it's mentioning toffee and caramel. I definitely get the caramel in there.
Yeah,
not so much toffee. I wasn't getting a whole lot of toffee, but it's got a good red color to it. It's like I said, there's maltiness there, but it's not overpowering. It's a great Irish ale. I would definitely drink this again. I would drink more than one of these in a sitting. I might like late October, November ball game at the Sim. I might be packing a couple of these in the cooler.
Okay. See, we're heading somewhere good here.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's a summertime brew per se, really, but it's still good. Yeah. I'm going. I think the last like 6 weeks I've done 7-7, so I'm gonna break that this evening. It's a solid brew. I'm gonna go 7-1 on it.
7-1. Trey, I am not too far from you. I actually am a 7 flat. I do. You mentioned the maltiness of it. I do taste the maltiness, so
that's kind of the one Kenny score.
Well, here's the thing:
a whole number Kenny score.
So it's a good score. So it's a good score then.
No, I think the beer's good. I don't know that I would drink 2 of them because of that malt that's in there. I did get the caramel flavor you're talking about, but I also found myself constantly like trying to like swallow away the maltiness to it. But because it is, they have the military thing. I gave them just a little bit of bump up to a 7 flat. I don't think I would drink 2. I wouldn't be mad if I drink 2. I just wouldn't openly choose to drink 2. But if Trey was like, "Hey, I've got an extra beer. Do you want it?" And I'm like, "What is it?" And he's like, "This." I'm like, "Yeah, I'd probably drink that. I'd drink it for free if that were the option."
I feel like you're probably not more often than not, unless it's Andy's Mint, you're not saying no.
That's a good point.
Probably true.
All right. Hey, listen. Today that this show has come out, guys, we need to sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, baby Lastly. My mom's birthday. So
hey, and it's Ryan Silverfield's birthday.
Not today, not Monday, but Wednesday, August 7th.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The day that this is live. She's watching right now on her birthday.
Happy birthday, Mama Leslie.
Woohoo.
That was all. We love you.
Wow.
Our one and only
happy
listener.
Early birthday.
Mom, the homeless guy from Kroger has just wished you a happy birthday. Except for he cut his hair.
What a great story. One of the classics. All
right. With that, next week, episode 88. Snake Eyes will be back. Come to the Cold Beer, stay for the hot takes. Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Like and subscribe at Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for a comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports.